G'day guys, before us today on the bench is a couple of Vacs that I know a lot of you have been waiting for. A lot of you have asked about when Makita were going to do an XGT lunchbox style or portable Vac. Well, they're finally here. We've got two of them on the bench, the VC013G and the VC014G. What's different about them? Well, I'll tell you the differences in a moment, but first, let's just look at what is the same. For that, we'll just get one of them out of the way, shall we? And if you're wondering where the CL004G, the powered head stick vac is, well, it's here, as you can see, and it'll be up in a couple of days. So they are a pair of L-class vacs. They come with a shoulder strap. They have a handle that locks in position so that it's not going to flop around on you, so that's nice. The strap, of course, can be removed. Comes with a 2 meter long boingy hose, whee, whee, whee. And as well as sucking, you can take the hose out and bung it on the other side, and it's now a blower. On the front here, you can see there is a crevice tool, slots in there and holds in place nicely. We've got a nozzle on the side here, good for the wet function. On the front, they both have a variable speed dial. They both have a battery indicator button, and well, we won't look at the rest of that bit because it is slightly different on the other one. HEPA filter, as you can see. If we now open it up and have a look at the inside, lever on each side there, like so, front and back, inside. Got it set up here with a paper bag. You can also get fleece bags. I will talk about all the accessories in a moment. Filter there, just pops in nice and easy like that, bang, lock it up, ready to go again. Battery goes in here. Now, this stays open, which is nice. What battery will fit in here? Will we fit an 8? Boom, no problem at all. What is the runtime on that 8? Well, we'll check that in a moment as well. Now, it's not MacPack or MacTrack compatible as of yet, but it does have some holes in the bottom here where you can get casters to put in there. Makita do sell those separately. I'll put all the part numbers for all the bags and filters and everything up on the screen shortly, and that way you can go and hunt them out, because if I rattle off all the numbers and everything now, it's just going to get too impossible and you guys will never find it. So also I'll put some links down in the description if I find any. There's probably not too many around at the moment. These are brand new, right? So if you're watching this a month or two down the track from when it was published, have a look down there because there might be some links to bags and filters and that sort of stuff. So that is the VC014G. What is different about the 013G? Well, as some of you will already know or will have already guessed, it is an AWS model. It comes with the AWS chip, but it's a screw-in one, not just a slot-in one, so you just need to undo that, put the chip in, screw it back up. So that then gives you the function of not just being on, but auto. So if you're not familiar with AWS, basically it's an auto wireless startup system. So you pull the trigger on your tool, which has an AWS chip in it. It will signal to this AWS chip to turn the vac on, and boom, away you go. You never have to walk over here and turn the vac on. It'll turn on and off by itself after you let go of the trigger of your circular saw or whatever you happen to be using. A few seconds later, the vac will cut off. It's a very cool feature, helps save your batteries because you're not just running the thing without actually sucking anything up. It's only running when it needs to. Also, it just makes it easier for you to actually make sure you use the vac in the first place, because it turns itself on and off. You know, you're not going to forget about it, do a few cuts and wonder why it's so dusty. Now on the surface, that is all that is different with these two vacs. But they do come with slightly different accessories in this part of the world anyway. Basically, this one is set up as a dust extractor, whereas this one is set up more of just a portable vac for cleaning up little messes. So this one comes with a wet filter, but it does fit in both of them, so don't panic. And as well as coming with the wet filter, it also comes with a bag of bags. So you'll get 10 bags with it, in this part of the world at least. So you get 10 paper bags and the filter for when you are sucking up water, which you don't get with this one. But this one does come with something that you don't get with this one, and that is this pre-filter. So we've got this bag on the outside, we've got the foam underneath, so you've got a bit more protection before you filter. So they both just come set up for different things. But you can just take this off, take the wet filter if you're gonna do some wet stuff, and lock it in like so. And as you can see, it also has the area here for sliding the bags into, so it doesn't matter which one you get, you'll still be able to use the wet filter, use paper bags, use fleece bags. It just means you may have to buy them as optional accessories. This one coming with them, this one coming instead with the filters and stuff for a more dust extraction type setup. So personally what I would do is buy the 1.3 with the AWS, because you want the AWS of course, and then just go and buy one of those filters. Now, are there any other differences? Well, not that I'm aware of. We'll now go through some numbers, eh? Now, the more perceptive of you may have noticed that this vac that I've now got my arm on looks a little bit different to what it did just a moment ago. That's because this is the 18 volt model, the one that you all wanted an upgrade to XGT from. A lot of people not too happy with the amount of suck that this thing put out, or didn't put out, so to speak. This is basically the same sort of thing. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter. It has the same capacity. I haven't talked about the capacity. 7.5 litres dust, 7.5 litres dust, 4.5 litres wet. This one is a little bit different in that it doesn't have the bags inside. By it doesn't have the bags inside, I mean it doesn't have anywhere for the bag to clip on, doesn't clip on there. The hose goes straight into the bottom, full of some sawdust from me cutting the other day. And yeah, you can't hook the bags on without modifying it in some way. So that's not quite as nice. But the thing you really didn't like about it was the suction, as I said. This one coming in, depending on what numbers, I really hate the numbers when it comes to, where am I going with this thing? Around there. When it comes to Vacs, I just hate the numbers and all the different numbers at different countries, different websites, different everybody uses. I don't normally say them. If you've watched this channel for a while, you'll know that I don't bother telling you usually what they are for Vacs, because they're usually wrong, and different countries, like I say, it's just a mess. And so I usually just test it, you know, just see what it'll suck up. If it sucks up a big chain, all good. Anyway, I'll give you some numbers. This one's a bit lighter, 4.6 kgs, as opposed to 6.2 I think this one comes in at, or both of these will come in at. Makita New Zealand claim this is 50 watts of sucking power, whereas this one is 165, 230% more. So I've been using this one the other day, cutting things up as a dust extractor. It seemed to work fine. But we will, of course, test the max suck in just a moment. This 18 volt one, which is the VC014G, if I haven't already mentioned it, doesn't have holes for casters. It's basically just a carry around, put it over your shoulder, sit it on the floor. This one, of course, with the casters, you can wheel it around behind you and use it like a standard vac, because if you've got the 38mm hose pipes, they will slot straight in there on either one of these. Now, the dust bags may not fit in the old 18 volt vac, but if you didn't already know, you can get the wet filter for the vac, same exact filter as this. So the dust filter and the wet filters are the same between the 18 and the 40 volt models. And the 18 volt, no AWS, as you can see, just a battery indicator and just the 2 speeds, no variable speed dial like on the 40 volt. It's just low or high. And now I'm fed up with talking, I want to go and suck something. So turn that into whatever you want, and I'll go go find something to suck up. Now, seeing as the 14 comes with the wet filter, I think we'll put that in there now and give this one a go with the wet, and we'll maybe do the other one with the dry. Oh no, somebody has clumsily spilt some water. Oh, look at that, right in this artfully lit spot. How will I ever clean this up? Oh, thankfully there's a Vacs sitting here. That doesn't sound very powerful. Will it be powerful enough? Not really doing the job. Let's crank it up. Once you've sucked up your spill, it is of course nice and easy to empty. Just take the top off, make sure when you're moving it around you keep it fairly level so you don't end up flooding anything inside. And yeah, I can now go get rid of this little spill that somehow happened. Pretty wet here on the bottom, so I'm just going to blow it off. What? This? You haven't seen this before? Really? Well, up in the top corner, down in the description, it'll be there somewhere. Very cool little handy tool. Got the 13 loaded up here with a 4F battery. We are gonna test how good this thing is at sucking up nasty stuff. So, in my pocket here, I have some bolt heads that were sheared off from a previous test that you probably saw last week. Hopefully it was last week, else I'm going to look stupid, eh? We're going to bung it on full whack and we're going to see if we can suck these up. 1, 2, 2 at once. Oh, there's jams in there. There we go, all 4. Now I have my classic test piece of chain. It is 1 foot long, 12 inches, 300 mil. Can it suck that up? Does that, it's going to suck up any dust, right? Might be a bit tricky. It's in. I heard it go in. Struggled a little bit. But if we take a look inside, when I zoom back out again, oh, there we go. Boom. Ta-da. 1 chain and 4 bolt heads. I don't think the 18 volt can do that. Or can it? Let's have a look. Now, the test of the XGT and of course this one are both done with the HEPA filter in place because you don't want to suck any metal into the motor because that wouldn't be good. So, let's turn her on. Where are we? You can hear it doesn't sound as powerful, right? Will it get these up? Not looking good for the chain, is it? So, way more suck on the XGT, that's for sure. Couldn't get up any of those things, so if you want that extra suck, yes, the XGT does have the extra suck, which I know will be a relief to some of you. Right, I guess we should do an AWS test, make sure that works. Bunger on auto. Now, the first time when you use AWS, you need to sort of register the tool. So basically, well, not the tool, but the chip which is in the tool, which you can see here. We need to hold this one down until it goes green, I need another hand ideally. So it's now green, it's now trying to find this tool, or this chip in this tool. You of course have to have a battery on the tool for this to work. This one has turned off, so we'll just turn this one back on to green as well. Once they're both flashing green, now solid, the tool is now registered. So now, in theory, when I turn this thing on, it should turn this on. Not only that, now that the tool knows the chip, basically this chip knows this chip, they will talk to each other much quicker next time. So when you just turn it on, it will automatically turn on here because this is all powered automatically, and as soon as you push the chip button on here, your vac will start working. Anyway, cool, huh? So on, turn this off, and then the vac turns off. Pretty nifty, very cool feature. Now let's just see how good it is, eh? Now that the tool is registered, if I turn this off, Bluetooth turns off. Sorry, AWS, it's Bluetooth basically. Turn it on to auto, it will automatically find this tool. It's like magic, man. Now, if the hose isn't long enough, it is quite short, it's 2 meters, and it's got this very tight concertinering sort of effect, which is pretty strong, so it sort of ends up pulling the vac behind rather than extending all the way out, I seem to find. When it's full of dust, it might be a bit better. If you want to extend it though, this is the hose off my VC014G, so it's got, just pops inside like that, and also the wand pipe, you know, this thing. That also came with that same vac. That goes in there no problem as well. So that's 38mm, I do believe. Just like other Makita vacs, make sure you keep a lookout for people doing flying jump kicks at you. And I've been playing with this for a bit, and it says, as I said earlier, 6.2 kgs. Now, it's also got BL4020. Now, I'm not sure if that's with that battery, but it still doesn't work out because this is definitely not 6.2 kgs. I don't know what you would have to put on it to make it that weight because it's definitely not that heavy. It is at the moment because I've just stuck a 8 amp hour battery in, and I basically think that that weight of 6.2 is with an 8 amp hour battery because I've weighed this and it's only 4.4 kgs, not 6.2, but one of those batteries is about 1.8. So there you go, 6.2. So it's 6.2 fully loaded with a battery, the biggest battery around. Now before we do the runtime test, here are all the accessories with the part numbers for each one. I'm not going to leave it there very long because we've got things to do here, so rewind to that if you want to see that. I've got a fully charged 8 amp hour battery in here. We're going to stick this thing on full whack. Now the 18 volt, according to Makita, 35 minutes max runtime. Now that'll be on a 6 amp hour battery on the lowest of the two speeds. Whereas we're going to whack this on a full whack because, you know, who's using that vac on the lowest speed? Come on. So, full whack, and I'm going to time it, of course, and we're going to see just how long it takes to completely deplete an 8 amp hour battery. So, let's go. It's always nice when a vacuum test comes to an end. So just shy of 40 minutes. Let's call it 40 minutes for the sake of that 10 or so seconds. Which would mean that one of these, a 4, will give you 20 minutes roughly, right? A 2 will give you 10 minutes roughly. And the 2.5, well, what's that? I don't know, I can't be bothered doing the maths, I've got a splitting headache. Let's say 12 or so minutes. Now that's on full whack. So if you compare that to some other vacs, if you compare it to the VC014G, which I've done on this channel, and the 6G, the 6G actually got longer run time than the 4. Now the 6 is an 80 volt vac and it actually runs longer than the 40 volt, surprisingly. The 40 volt VC014G will drain one of these in about 22 minutes on full. So 44 minutes for two of them. In fact, we're looking at close to double the runtime with this than the VC004G, and that's on full whack. Of course, I'm not going to do a runtime test with it turned right down because, yeah, you know, it's double that. You know, I'm not standing here. I'm going to run out of SD cards and batteries and stuff. Now, the 18 volt version of this, the 750, I don't own it, so I'm not sure. I haven't had long-term experience seeing how good the runtime is. But like I say, Makita state 35 minutes. Now that's on the low speed with the top battery. This is on the high speed with the top battery. So I'm guessing that the 750 is more like 15 minutes to 20 minutes, something like that, on full whack on a 6 amp hour battery. If you've got one, let me know down below what the runtime you roughly get on it is. When you consider this is 165 watts of suck with this, where it's only 50 with the other one, then the runtime seems alright to me. But all the Vacs do suck through the juice pretty quick. While we're here and I'm touching this, be aware of this. Every time I'm pulling the battery out, bang, I'm cracking my knuckles, catching on the edge of that. It's a pain in the bum. I've done it like 3 times already. So the 18 volt basically sucked because of how much it sucked, whereas this sucks good, which makes it a good little sucker. Cheers for watching. Please consider hitting that like button. Helps with the algorithm, gets these videos out there. And I just realized, did I actually even vacuum up any dust with this thing? Right, time to use this thing as a dust extractor, eh? I'm going to use this saw here. If you haven't seen it and you want to know more about it, then take a look at the video up here, down in the description as well. It's basically a dustless saw. The dust goes into here, and then you can either empty it out by opening that up, or suck it out through the hole there. Often I will use this without any vac because it catches so much of the dust. It all gets caught in there. I then just take this bung out, hook it up to a vac, and it sucks everything out. But there's also another one of these that I also got for this saw, which kind of connects straight onto a vac. So instead of having the suction out the back, it goes out the front. So this we will hook on, and we'll hook it straight up to the vac. And then once we've got the vac set up, the 013G here we will have set up with the damper and the pre-filter and all that all ready to go. We need to put a bag on it though as well. Now you don't always have to have all this on there. If you've got one of the filter bags, then you can sort of get away without using this if you really want. You do risk though some of the dust getting out and getting sucked into the motor, particularly if the bag tears or pops off somehow. Anyway, this doesn't actually go on here. This is just sort of kept up here. Take that off there. Get this out of the way. It clips into the base, into this area here. So you've got 2 little things that clip in there, and that little lever goes underneath like that. So that's now held in place. We then grab a bag, using a paper bag here, shove that into here. Couple of little tangs there it clips under, and they lock in place. Pretty secure there, and the bag goes in like so. Still got room for your filter on the side there. You can only put this on one way because the latch isn't in the center. Lock her up. I'm going to run a longer hose. I'm going to run the 5-meter hose on top of this, so we're going to have 7 meters of hose. We'll see how well it sucks up while I cut up some scrap with this. Actually, I'm going to do a cut with this first, the 185 millimeter. Then we'll jump over to the little 125 dustless. Now this chip in this tool is already paired to our vac, so if we just turn on the chip here, pull the trigger, basically works just like the Bluetooth on your phone and your speaker, you know. Every time you just turn it on, it works once you've paired it. So let's do some cuts. So this is the most efficient one of these to use because the dust just goes straight up from the end of the blade. The blade spins here, fires it straight up and out into the vac. but it's not the prettiest one to use for a YouTube video. Because with this one, the dust will come up into here, circle around and stuff, land, or if you've got a vac on it, like I said earlier, poked in here, should swirl around in there and then get sucked back out. So let's see if we can see some dust in action. You will of course though need a different adapter to fit on because, well, you know. Right, let's go. Now going to take the vac off. We'll do a cut, we'll get some dust in here and we'll suck it back out with the new vac. First we should probably suck up the sawdust that's already there so we don't get confused. Haven't got much in there yet. Cutting through a bunch of nails there. It's like somebody fired a heap of nails in this pellet. Right, we've got a bit of dust in there now. Right, let's hook up the vac, turn her on and see how she goes. Well, I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty cool. You don't need the vac going all the time. You can just catch most of the dust in there and suck it out with the vac later, so you don't have to have a hose attached all the time. You don't have the noise of a vac going, and you don't have to drain the batteries on your vac. It's a cool little saw, but we're not reviewing the saw, are we? But if you want to see it down there, up there, you know. Got a bit of chainsaw dust here from another video that I was filming. I don't normally vacuum the drive, but let's give it a go. I better look out, the wife's just seen this and she likes the idea of bunging some caster wheels on the bottom and using it as a cordless vac in the house, mostly to suck up bird seed off hardwood floors. Now if you're one of these really anal guys who looks for things to find wrong with stuff just so you can have an excuse not to buy it, well, the plastic on this is polypropylene with 30% glass, whereas on the XGTs it's ABS. Got an issue with that, have you? Leave it down below. And what about the two different models, the 13 and the 14? I'm looking forward to the discussion on why there is two of these and not just one. I know why you buy the 1.3 over the 1.4. The 1.3's got silver on the word brushless. Not over here. So we'll leave it there, I think. Thanks for watching. It's a big improvement over the 18 volt for sure. You shouldn't be too disappointed in one of these, I wouldn't think. It sucked up everything I wanted to suck up, so I'm happy. Cheers guys. And especially cheers to these people.